Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate and today it is time to pick out my November TBR using my TBR board game. Now for full transparency, I have already actually done this once and I had a really good TBR, like I had like 5 books or something, but the footage is horrendous, so I'm refilming it. I'm refilming it and hoping that this time is just as nice as it was last time, but yeah, that's on me for just poor filming, so hopefully this will rectify that mistake. Going into November, I'm actually not really going to be participating in any kind of readathons or anything. I haven't really sought any out. I'm just having a pretty chill month, I think. So no real any ideas of like any other plans as far as reading goes. I have a couple of book clubs that I might be interested in reading. One book particularly I do need to get done by like the 20th, but yeah, if I don't manage to get it on this TBR, I will just read it regardless. Going into November, I do need to have a look back on how I did in October. I did not successfully read all the books on my TBR. If you have seen my October TBR, you're probably not surprised. It was chunky. I think I did end up reading like 17 books overall in the month, but they were not all from that TBR anyway. So yeah, I will have a reading wrap up coming sometime soon, so where I will go over the books that I read and my thoughts on them. So that does mean I will be taking a punishment going into November, and I have changed up how I'm going to be doing that for my game, and I have made punishment prompts. So these prominent prompts are prompts that affect gameplay in some way. They kind of either about the sort of books that I can pick or about how I play the game, basically. I think there's about 9 in here. I don't even remember what they all are. I only wrote them a couple of weeks ago and they've already completely left my mind. So yeah, I'll be picking these, and then if I successfully win one of my rounds, I can pick a reward prompt. That's the idea, because I was finding with my read or unhaul books, I was basically just starting them so that I didn't have to unhaul them, because I was starting them with, oh yeah, I'm going to continue at this. And I already have a load of books anyway that I've started that I need to continue, and it's just gotten bigger. So anyway, yeah, that's the plan. So we're going to pick a punishment prompt, and then we're going to jump into the game, and we're going to hope that it is just as nice as it was the first time I played this. So yeah, starting with the punishment prompt, I'm just going to give these a little fuzz around, and yeah, we'll just pick one. They're all pretty self-explanatory. So what is this one? It says all books over 400 pages. So any book that I pick that I have a choice in has to be 400 pages. If I land on my purple and it's randomly picked for me, it will just be whatever that book is. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and see what the first roll is then for November's TBR. And so let's start with rolling the dice. That is a 7. Which is a white, which for anyone that doesn't know, white is a free pick, and it's something that I can pick up the end, so I can add anything in that I need to. So let's go on with roll number 2, which is a lovely 10. That landed us on a blue prompt, which is to do a random letter author. So first prompt was random letter author. I'm going to see if I can generate one from my phone, so let's have a look. Give me a random letter.
I found this on the web.
No. He doesn't want to do that, so it's going to come up with one. So it's come up with G, so we're just going to randomly generate. Has that changed it? Yes, that has changed it to an A. So I need to come up with a author's name that is an A. It could be first or last name. Let me go and have a look. And it has to be over 400 pages. Okay, so for the first book for the month, I'm going to be putting on Eileen Fowler's Fireborn. This is the 3rd book and the final book in the Fireborn trilogy. This is a middle grade fantasy series. It follows our young character 12 in the beginning of the series. She's joined this kind of like guard academy that she's training to be this guard that protects this kind of their country from monsters, and when doing so, the only friend that she kind of has in this place ends up getting kidnapped, and she ends up going on a journey to try and save her. A lot has happened since then in book 1 and both book 2, and I really enjoyed them. I've read them both in the last couple of months. I think it was September I read them both, and I really enjoyed them. I had such a good time. Something I'm really going to start trying to do is like reading series closer together, so I would love to get this finished in this year, and so I've read them all in like a couple of months, and that would be, yeah, so cool. So this is going to be the first book on for the TBR, and it's like 430 something pages, so it fits, which I'm really happy with. So on to the next roll. A 12, which would basically be that green one. A middle grade. I got middle grade, which is really nice. I did also just pick a middle grade, but that's fine. I'm going to be putting on Nethersea. This is the 4th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. I listened to the first 3 of these books on audiobook, but I bought them and I decided I wanted to try physically reading this one. This is a series that follows a young girl, Sophie. She is raised in the human world, believes she's human until she finds out that she's actually an elf, and so gets taken to this like elven world, and she has a lot of magic. I do quite enjoy this series. It's not my favorite middle grade series ever. I think it's frustrating in a lot of ways. The adults in this series are quite useless, and like Sophie not gets away with doing a lot of stuff, but like she does a lot of stuff that sometimes I feel like that she feels like there should be no consequences for. It's very much, you know, a middle grade of like kids figuring everything out themselves, and like, yeah, not consequences coming around for it. But the way the third book ended was quite interesting, and so I'm interested to see how this one carries on in the series. And it is very much over 400 pages. I think it's like over 500 pages or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go and seeing what it's like. Next roll. That is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is another 3 pick. So again, I'll do that at the end. So potentially our last roll. A 6. Yep, the last roll. So we need a green, which is a Oceanic author. A blue that has fake dating. Okay, and then the black is an Illumicrate book. I will see what I can find with these prompts. So I am cheating, guys. I'm picking another blue. Fake dating just is not working for me, so I'm going to be picking instead a book that I have seen the adaptation to. Okay, so that was a bit of a trial just then. As you saw, I got another 3 pick, so I have 2 free picks, and then I got to the final space in a pretty decent time. However, the final space prompts basically didn't really work together, and I ended up picking a new blue. I didn't have any books on my physical TBR that was fake dating over 400 pages, and I'm trying to read from my physical TBR as much as I can, so I ended up picking a new blue, which I am still then going to be picking 3 books though for the end space. In the new year, I'm going to be trying to change up how I do specifically the blacks on those spaces, just to try and make it a bit more cohesive. And I do actually have a book that could have fit for 2 of them, but I want to do a kind of read along maybe next year, a channel read along, and one of that book was specifically that I want to do the read along for. So I'm just thought I'd take the hit, had to put 3 books on for the end one, and yeah, still not as many books as last month, nowhere near as many, and I think still doable, even though they are all over 400 pages and a bit chunky. Let's quickly go through what I ended up picking. As you saw, I repicked my blue and I got Seen the adaptation, and for this one I'm going to be putting on Eldest by Christopher Paolini. Now this book technically didn't have an adaptation, but the first book Aragon did. I went to the cinema to watch it back in the day, and I quite enjoyed it. I can see that it was not a good adaptation, but like as a teenager, was I a teenager? Yeah, as like a child or a teenager, I can't remember how old I was, I did quite enjoy the book. So yeah, anyway, the movie, not the book. I've been trying to do a reread of this series. I reread the first one maybe last year, and I want to reread the second one and reread the third one so I can actually finally finish the series and read the fourth one. Aragon is a like high fantasy YA series about a young boy Aragon who finds a dragon egg and becomes a dragon rider in a world where dragon riders don't really exist anymore, and they've all been killed off except the kind of like overlord of the country. And it's one that I really loved growing up, never ended up finishing, and so I really want to. I am a little bit into this. I'm about 200 pages into it, but I do still have 400 pages left of it, and so I thought it's coming to the end of the year. I want to try finishing up a load of books that I'm in the middle of. This is one of them on my Goodreads. I think I'm in the middle of like 12. So that needs to get down. So yeah, I thought I would add this on for my Seen the adaptation, as it is one, and it's one that I'm familiar with, so I think it'll be quite a fun read. And I'm just looking forward, yeah, to rereading it and finally actually finishing the series. Then for book for Oceanic author, I'm going to be putting on The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. This is another one that I'm in the middle of, although I'm literally like 50 pages in. And I think I've spoken about this in a couple of my previous TBRs, and yeah, I still haven't read it. I think this is the 3rd time it's gone on TBR this year. Still has not been read. So this is the month that I'm actually going to be trying and finishing this book. So yeah, looking forward to reading it. It is a World War II historical fiction book about a young girl who collects books, and it's told from the perspective of death, which is quite interesting. It's a very famous book. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how I actually gel with it and actually finishing this book off. So then for my Illumicrate book, I'm actually going for a book which is one that I like bought the series of, instead of just being ones that I had gotten back in the day from book boxes, and that is going to be Beasts of War. This is by Ayana Gray, and it is the 2nd book to Beasts of Prey. Ignore my very confused self. Beasts of Ruin is book 2 in this series. Beasts of War is book 3, so I will actually be reading Beasts of Ruin. I listened to the audiobook for that because I saw that they were doing these special editions for this series, and I did really quite enjoy it. I thought the world building was really good, and I really liked our two main characters, and I thought the whole kind of story and the kind of inspiration, it's like inspired by African mythology, was really, really interesting. So I'm interested to carry on and see where it goes. This is the beautiful special editions from Illumicrate. They all have absolutely lovely foiling on the hardcovers, and like I said, trying to read series is closer together so that I am still like remembering the information properly and really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to reading this actually. Not one I had planned to read, which is why I'm glad like it gives me these prompts like, of like Illumicrate, because when would I have picked this up? But yeah, I'm looking forward to carrying on with this series. So those were the 5 prompt books that I got, but I also did get 2 free picks. Now I'm being kind to myself for these free picks, and I'm going to be putting on some manga. So I'm going to be putting on volumes 2 and 3 of Vagabond. These are the Viz Big editions, so they're like 3 individual volumes in one. I think they're both about over 600 pages-ish. So it's like reading 6 volumes of manga basically, but you know, it is manga, it's a graphic novel. It's not going to take me as long to read. I read the first one of this, I don't remember when, I think it was last year maybe, and I did quite enjoy it. I think the art style in particular is absolutely stunning, and I was intrigued enough in the story to like want to see where it goes. Basically, it's an adaptation of a real-life samurai, Miyamoto Musashi, who was like the most famous samurai, and it's kind of, yeah, just Takaaki Inoue's, I guess, interpretation of the story. And yeah, his artwork is just so stunning. Really, really beautiful artwork. So I'm looking forward to reading both of these, and I think this is a good shout to put on because they're both over 400 pages, but they're not going to add too much time. Although there's not actually that many roles, because they had to be over 400 pages, it's quite a thick stack. Yeah, let's do a little recap. So holding this stack, it feels thick. We have Keeper of the Lost Cities Never Seen for a middle grade, Fireball 3 for a random letter author A, The Book Thief for an Oceanic author, Eldest for seeing the adaptation, Beasts of War for a Illumicrate book, and then the 2 volumes of Vagabond for my free picks. I'm actually quite excited by this. This is not actually too bad compared to what the first round had given me. I think I have one more book, physical book on here, but I did also have a manga on that one as well. So yeah, not too shabby, much nicer than last month, not too bad. Let me actually put this down for a second. So the only other book that I do actually need to read this month is The Silent Companions. This is by Laura Prucell, I think her name is. It's my family book club pick, and it needs to be read by like the 24th, but it's under 400 pages, so I wouldn't have been able to put it on here anyway. I'll be reading the ebook on Everand, and yeah, this was my older sister's pick. I think it's a historical gothic fiction. Not really sure much else about it, but yeah, one I will be reading, so I will definitely be reading this month. And then the only other book that I might start reading is Malice by John Gwen. Becca from Becca and the Books is doing, as part of her book club, which I don't remember what the name is, Catch Up Book Club maybe? I'm not quite sure. She is starting a readathon of this series from John Gwen, and I have been wanting to read it for a while, and so when I saw that this was like the new series that is going to be starting off with, I thought I would jump on and join the bandwagon. This is going to be the November and December book, so if I start it, I will carry it through onto December, and then yeah, I think the live shows will be in January. And then I think the books, all the rest of the series will run all of next year. So my intention is to keep up with that and read these books as a part of that readathon. I really want to take part in more YouTube readathon things and like in more like online bookish community stuff in general. So I think this would be a good place to get on, and I'm really excited actually about reading this. I could have potentially put this on here, but I didn't want to put it on here as like a definite. I thought the manga were better options. So yeah, I will hopefully maybe be starting this at the end of the month as well, but I'm going to try and get my rest of my reads done first. All in all, not too shabby. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I picked and what you thought of them, what you were going to be reading in November, or if there's any new releases that you are excited about coming out. I would love to know. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it as always. And yeah, I will see you guys again hopefully soon.